President Cyril Ramaphosa just declared war on his own citizens, branding grassroots movements March and March as criminals on national television. But Jacinta Ngobese-Zuma just fired back and completely humiliated the head of state. The political battle lines in South Africa have officially been redrawn, and I have the raw footage to prove it. In just a moment, I am going to show you the exact clip of President Ramaphosa trying to criminalize and threaten the movement. But do not click away, because right after that, you are going to see the explosive footage of Jacinta utterly dismantling him following her historic meeting with AfriForum. While Ramaphosa stands at the podium claiming the nation is deeply ashamed and threatening jail time for those prioritizing South African borders, Ngobese-Zuma is refusing to back down. She took the fight directly to the union buildings, accusing top political leaders of pushing for state brutality against their own people. She dropped a massive bombshell, exposing how corrupt leaders compromise the safety of South African citizens just to protect their own private mining interests in foreign countries. She made it crystal clear there can be no talk of African unity while South Africa is forced to absorb the entire continent's crisis alone. While the political establishment panics and tries to crush rising citizen power, we expose the unedited truth. If you believe the government must protect its own people first, drop a comment right now saying, "Put South Africa first." Hit that like button, subscribe to Patriotic Mzansi News, and share this video everywhere before they try to censor this. We are going to watch this play out step by step. First Ramaphosa's threats, and then Jacinta's massive retaliation. Jabulani, roll the tape.
We will act against forces who are exploiting the concerns of our people about illegal immigration to further their own political, personal, and criminal agendas.
Be clear, as a nation, that we will not tolerate any acts of criminality. We will not tolerate any acts of vandalism. Those who are involved in acts of violence will be arrested and prosecuted. Those found guilty will receive the stipulated penalty. This will be done without any fear or favor. We will also condemn any attempts to create confusion by sharing false images and videos, often from events that took place many years ago. These videos are being propagated and sent around to confuse people and to scare people. I ask that you think carefully before sharing anything on social media or elsewhere that may not be accurate or verified.
We are deeply concerned and ashamed that nationals from other countries have in recent months been subjected to discrimination and ill treatment. I repeat, as South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that people from other nations, some whose leaders are here, were treated badly and were even forced to leave the country under threat of violence. The criminal actions of a few within our communities are a repudiation of the solidarity upon which this Southern African community is built.
We have noted the energy that politicians, particularly those in government, have for calling for the state to unleash the brutality of the state on us, for demanding what belongs to us. Why do we not see the same energy against the criminal cartels that we already know we have in the country? Not once have we had government calling out Nigerians for selling drugs in South Africa and destroying the future of this country. And just yesterday, we were watching them on another episode of Sizokuthola telling us that the ground is fertile for crime in this country, yet we have not heard government calling them out. We have not heard government calling out Somalians and the people of Pakistan and Ethiopians and telling them to dismantle the cartels that they are running in our country, as well as the spaza shop mafias. We are aware that the executive is planning to unleash the army on us in June, yet they have dismally failed to remove the illegal immigrants from our shores. The prioritization of foreign nationals in South Africa is deeply appalling. South Africa is currently on the verge of a collapse. The economy is crumbling, there are no resources left for South Africans, and there's certainly not enough resources for foreign nationals. We're here today not because we're bored, but because we have cried and cried for a year now as we celebrate a year of March and March, that we are not being taken seriously on this issue, and we demand that the government acts on the issue.
And really that is my next point. What would you say is the root of the problem that we are seeing in our country? What would you say is the root? Is it the borders themselves? Is it government? What would you say is the root of the problem?
It's a combination of things. It's a combination of laws that are interpreted anyhow by the courts. It's a combination of people in government who don't have a willingness to act on the matter because some of them are benefiting from the influx of foreigners. And it's a combination of foreigners themselves disrespecting our country. Because if we were talking about 100,000 foreigners, then it wouldn't be an issue. We barely would even notice. But we're sitting at millions of people who are disregarding our laws, who are coming into the country illegally, and then when they come here, they start using our own laws against us with the assistance of NPOs and NGOs who are making millions out of these illegal immigrants and are getting funded by foreign organizations like the United Nations to come to destabilize the country. We know that it's a greater plan to wipe out the natives of this country so they can come back and take over the country by claiming that we failed to govern the country.
And I want to talk about the fact that it has, of course, been a year since you've held that strong stance of prioritizing South Africans. Do you feel as if there's any difference that has been made since you started protesting in different places, or do you feel ignored?
A very small difference. We do feel ignored because we know for a fact that if the government wanted to make it as a very strong sign and signal that the natives are tired, they would do so. But then you have a president that goes to parliament and then says that we must not touch foreigners, whereas he doesn't say a thing about those foreigners who are in this country illegally. What does that tell you? It tells you that anyone who's benefiting from illegal immigrants and foreigners will do anything and everything to protect them. And we know that they're running businesses in foreign countries. That's why they're compromising our lives, because they have mines and whatever in other foreign countries and are therefore making our lives hell, because they know they're too scared to tell the other presidents from the other country to come fetch their people who are misbehaving in our country. We are tired of Nigerians, Somalians, Ethiopians, Malawians, Mozambicans, Zimbabweans, everyone, Pakistanis, Chinese, everyone who's in the country illegally. Because we have been complaining a lot about the behavior and the crimes that foreign nationals are committing in the country, whereas they are being painted as the victims all over the world. It's South Africans that are xenophobic. That's the thing that's going on around the world. But nobody wants to hear us when we say we don't have a problem with people. For 32 years we've lived with them, but we can't keeping quiet with the behavior that they are showcasing in our country, the criminal activities, the fear that they've instilled even in South Africans. There's a lot of people who didn't even come here today because they're scared, and nobody's telling those stories of us as ordinary South Africans who fear walking in places in our own country. The only thing they want to obsess about and talk about is xenophobia, when we know very well there's nothing xenophobic about marching in our streets. It's our constitutional right, and if we want to march every single day and night, we can do that. Well, our emphasis is always on illegal immigrants, but we cannot shy away from the fact that there are people who have documents to be in the country, firstly fraudulently, illegally, and some of them are here, but they're not behaving and doing the things that they said they're coming to our country to do, because some of them come with the passport for 60 days. Meanwhile, you find them in shops working and doing all kinds of things. That is not what a passport is supposed to do. You're supposed to have a work permit every single time you work, so that we can also be able to receive taxes from yourself, etc. So a lot of people are getting away with doing a lot of illegal activities in our country and hiding behind the fact that they're foreigners and they don't want us to call them out.
Who would you attribute those failures to that, as you mentioned, South African ordinary citizens now finding themselves in this situation?
Well, first of all, it has to be our government, because when people go out there and vote, they vote for you guys to protect them. And what you've done is just open the doors of hell and let everyone just flood in. Whoever wants to be, or is even an aspiring criminal, comes to South Africa and then they start thriving. And then the government has also made a mistake of making sure that they foster relationships with African countries on a one-sided platter. You can't want African unity where South Africa is the only country that's sacrificing and losing. Other African countries are not functioning right now. They're not taking care of their people, and their people are becoming our problem. We cannot have a country where the entire country is a dumping ground for refugees. Every failed country comes here and they come here and tell us that they're refugees. From today onwards, every single South African is a refugee. You ask us, we are refugees. Are you guys refugees? Yes. Yeah, we're all refugees. We work with. I mean, AfriForum is South African. We're not against anyone because of their race. The only thing we always talk about is people who are undocumented in the country. And we're saying we're going to go to AfriForum and learn from them, because it's important for us to take lessons from people if they're doing something right. And the right things that they are doing, we're going to be learning from them. It doesn't mean that we're saying now we're going to be worshipping AfriForum. That's not what we're saying, because we also told them that where we disagree, we disagree. But here we want to learn on the things that you are doing correctly for the people who are in your forum. So that's part of the SA First Forum, and that's the mission that we want. We want to come up with strategies and ways that they learn to finance things like universities, how do they build them, etc., etc. So it's really a learning opportunity for us.
Sawubona Jacinta.
Hallo Kali, hoe gaan dit?
Ag, dit gaan goed man, baie dankie. Sia Kwamukela, AfriForum.
Oh hey, baie dankie. Ek is welkom na AfriForum.
Ja man, baie dankie vir die lekker gesprek. Ek hoop jy kom weer by ons kuier. En
definitely sizobuya sizela again. Sizokhuluma izinto that are going to make the country better.
Most definitely. Ons gaan nou braai.
Aye, let's go eat some meat.
AfriForum CEO, Kali Kriel. Kali, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. I'm keen to know, firstly, how Ms. Ngobese-Zuma, how she introduced herself when you met today, because in that clip, she talks about we need to take pride in who we are. Her introduction of the grouping that she leads, and what is it that was discussed?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chloe. It was a brilliant meeting. I must say I have a lot of respect for her with regard to how we spoke in the meeting. I think it was a very constructive meeting. And how it, of course, started is what we all know. All people in this country, except, of course, for the political elite that would continue to enrich themselves, simply want to build a future for their children. They want to live in improved communities. And to do that, we believe that communities themselves should start cooperating to build a future for our children, what we want. And as she's mentioned in the clip, of course, one would never agree on everything. But the important thing is, if we want to build a future, we can speak about issues that we differ on. But there are so many issues that we do agree on, such as the rule of law. There should not be lawlessness. Crime should be taken on. And I think those are the shared goals of the two organizations. And we formed that working group, as you've mentioned, to look at practical ways to cooperate. The problem always is you don't just want symbolism and talk shops. And I think both organizations, March and AfriForum, we have a grassroots presence, and we will utilize that to make a difference and to build a better future.